Hello everyone, and welcome to the City of Winter Garden Summer Camp 2014, officially known as Camp POW. This quick video is just something to inform you of all the information that you'll find in your parent handbook, but I'm helping you out so you don't have to actually open it up and read. Right here you'll find a list of some generally asked questions. These questions are pretty much what I base the parent handbook on. They'll answer questions such as, what will my camper eat while they're attending camp? When should they wear their t-shirt? What time can I drop them off? Where do I drop them off? What days field trips fall on? When do you owe payment for the following week's tuition? And what day is swimming exactly? Camp drop-off and pickup has switched locations this summer. It is now located on the back side of the Jesse Brock Community Center on Dillard Street, just across from the elementary school. Camp hours are from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., with drop-off being from 7 to 9 a.m. and pickup being 5 to 6 p.m. Only people listed on the sign-out form or safe pickup list will be allowed to remove your camper from camp. Just be sure that each individual does show up with photo ID acknowledging who they are, and that way we can refer back to the list. If you'd like to update your list, please do so by coming into the camp office and seeing Mr. Eric, which is myself, or Miss Rosemary. The camp schedule is as followed. Before camp programming takes place from 7 to 9 a.m., this is usually when you're dropping your child off, and they'll be escorted inside by a CIT and given the option to go to either indoor games, outdoor games, or move to a more structured programming with Legos, blocks, and various board games or craft projects. The bulk of our programming happens between 9 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. That's when we have our opening and closing ceremonies. They'll partake in arts and crafts projects, sports, various games, and a multitude of science projects that we pulled aside for this summer. Afternoon programming will start taking place at 4:30 as opposed to 4 in the past. It'll be from 4:30 to 6, and at this time they'll partake in those same activities that they got to do in the morning, but this time they might choose something else and switch up their options. Swim days are Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and this summer your child will actually have the opportunity to swim all 3 days. Instead of going down for 2 hours a day, twice a week, we're giving each child a chance to go down 1 hour a day with their group, where they'll partake in 30 minutes of group organized games and 30 minutes of free swim. The field trip days will vary this year, most falling on Thursdays, but there are a couple on Wednesdays and Fridays, and we'll get to that at a later slide. And lastly, remember, the 4th of July is a holiday, and all of our programs are shut down for that day, so please make other arrangements for your camper that day. Field trips. This is probably one of the most exciting parts of camp. But this is also the day that you will need to wear your camp t-shirt, or your camper will need to wear their camp t-shirt. The trip dates will be dependent on the weeks themselves and the actual trip. As stated previously, all of our camp field trips fall on Thursdays, with the exception of a few. Those few field trips are going to be the trip to go see How to Train Your Dragon 2. That will be on Friday, June 13th. Also, our trip to the Florida Aquarium will be on Wednesday, June 25th. Our trip to Tropicana Field will be on July 30th, and that's going to be a long trip. That is going to be the one trip where you will need to make sure your child is at camp at the time specified at a later date, and they will be returning roughly around 5:30, close to 6. In regards to field trips and lunches, please be sure to always pack a lunch unless instructed otherwise. And just so you know, parents and volunteers are not allowed to attend trips. Lastly, if your camper may decide to bring money or loose change to purchase something on the trip, that is their responsibility, as they are responsible for their own personal belongings. Here's the fun stuff. Totally kidding, because I know when somebody sees financial information, it's like, oh man. But in regards to financial information, just be sure to make sure the payments are made on time. Payments are due Thursdays prior to the week your camper attends, and so therefore if your camper is attending week 3, by Thursday of week 2, be sure to drop off a check, cash, or money order, or go home and make a payment utilizing your Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. Payments online can be made at enroll.wgplay.com using your username and password. If you're unfamiliar with what your username or password is, please get with me, Eric, and I will forward over your information so you can log on. As far as late fees are concerned, we do assess late fees to individuals that make payments past the due date, which your child's camp spot actually may be subject to termination if payment is not made on time. Late pickup fees do start accruing after 6 p.m. From 6 to 6:05, it's $5, and then for each additional minute after, it's another $5. Just a quick hit of general information. As far as lunch is concerned, please be sure to send your child with a lunch, 2 snacks, and a refillable bottle of water. Also, in regards to those lunches, ask your child exactly how much they feel they can eat throughout the day. It's better to pack more than less, because it's been known for children to actually dive into their afternoon snack during lunch because they're still a little hungry, and then come afternoon they have nothing to eat. As far as special accommodations, the City of Winter Garden Parks and Rec Department, we strive to accommodate for all children. All children are expected to follow camp policies pertaining to safety, violence, profanity, weapons, fireworks, illegal substances, alcohol, tobacco, regardless of the needs or accommodations. If safety of the child or staff or other children is compromised in any way, the City of Winter Garden Parks and Recreation Department reserves the right to dismiss the child if he or she is deemed unfit within the camp settings. If you have more general questions in regards to this, please be sure to get with me, and I can definitely clear this up for you. And lastly, with appropriate clothing, with this, be sure your child comes to camp comfortable and in clothing to where it may not prohibit them to engage in any activities that we may do. As far as footwear is concerned, we do recommend that you send your child with the appropriate tennis shoes. Crocs are definitely not considered appropriate tennis shoes, as they can't withstand normal wear and tear and play, and then also it may deem uncomfortable for the child themselves when they try to participate in certain activities. Camp policies is a big topic, but just quickly I wanted to go through this and familiarize everyone with things such as personal items, cancellation charges, medical information, and also behavior. In regards to personal items, a camper is not permitted to bring those to camp. That includes electronic cell phones, games, playing cards, toys, athletic equipment, makeup for those young women, and anything that may pertain to a personal belonging that doesn't seem appropriate for camp. Cancellation charges, as stated prior to registration and during registration, if you choose to cancel any of your child's weeks at least 2 weeks out from the week that they're attending, there is a $25 charge unless someone is on the waiting list and willing to take your child's spot. If you choose to cancel within that 2 weeks of the said date, then you are subject to full tuition fees for the week in which you are canceling, unless someone is on the waiting list and willing to take your spot. In regards to medication, if your camper needs to take medication throughout the day, please fill out a permission to dispense medication form, and that can be found at the camp office, or you can email me and I can send that right over. As far as behavior is concerned, we just ask that your camper remain respectful to themselves, other campers, and counselors. Keep their hands and feet to themselves. Stay with their group and counselor at all times. And understand that inappropriate language, gestures, and artwork is not acceptable at camp and subject to dismissal from the program if deemed necessary by myself or Miss Rosemary, which is the camp director. Lastly, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Pinterest. We'll be updating Facebook and Instagram throughout the camp experience and day for up to the minute. You'd probably want to check out Instagram more often, as that's readily accessible to my phone. It's just quick hit pictures. So definitely follow us on Instagram. And in relation to Pinterest, if you're curious as to what's going on at camp or what activities your child may be partaking in, check out our Pinterest page. And you'll find out all the information you need as far as programming and items that we utilize throughout the day. With that, I thank you for this quick little 10 minutes, I believe I'm at. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or just want to chat because you're bored, definitely reach me at either my office phone or by email. And if you need to for any reason whatsoever, you can contact me on my cell. But please, emergencies only. All right, thanks, and see you guys on the 9th.